I want to follow up on this video I made yesterday about Greeking Mr. Drew, because he's asking me on Twitter, who is the ungodly in this Romans 5:6 here. Christ died for the ungodly. Isn't that everybody on the planet? He's either telling me or asking me. I can't figure it out. And yesterday I was sort of in a hurry, had to meet some friends, so I had to go. I don't script none of this stuff. I just turn the computer on and go. But I wanted to follow up on this because yesterday I went through every Greek word in the sentence, give you some background and definition. But what I want to do now is so the reason, so it's the translators kind of treat this adjective as a noun. This is so it's the ungodly. This is the word asabon, and they're translating that one word to be these two words, a definite article and a noun, or I guess that can be an adjective, because this is an adjective. It's not a noun. So, but Mr. Drew is treating it like a noun. Now, what in Greek? Well, if you read one Greek textbook, it'll say one thing. You read another Greek textbook, it'll say another. I mean, the scholars can't even agree, all the time. But in general, what they're doing here is they're treating it as what's called a substantive adjective. They'll call it a standalone adjective. This adjective right here would be the same. It would be called a substantive adjective, which treats it like a noun, not a noun, but like a noun. And anytime you have a substantive adjective that's treated like a noun, it's and this is genitive, so it still has relationship to the context. You can't just say the ungodly, everybody on the planet, when there's not everybody on the planet in the context. Am I making that clear? So treating it as a noun, that's okay. It's not a noun, it's an adjective. Adjectives describe nouns and pronouns. The only other pronoun in the sentence is this right here, which is us. So this adjective, being genitive, is relating to this us genitive pronoun. So if you treat it like a noun, you still have to relate it to what's in the sentence and the context. And this is genitive, it's us. So the ungodly would be us, not everybody on the planet. You see that? You even if you treat it like a noun, you have to relate it to the context and what's in the sentence and the context. That's why when you look down here, they'll say Christ died for us. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. In this sentence, in verse 6, does the same thing. At a time, Christ, died for the ungodly, which is us. Right here, us. So it's not a substantive adjective that functions like a noun in a vacuum. You can't just pull it out, and just decide it's whatever you want. You have to go by the context, and especially, in my opinion, especially being that it's genitive, means that it relates. So one thing you can do with the genitive is put an of in front of it. So like huper, concerning of undevoutness he died. Concerning of undevoutness he died. Whose undevoutness? Whose undevoutness? Everybody on the planet? Well, where do you get that? You don't get it out of the context. It would be our undevoutness. The ones that while we were still sinners he died for. You see that? So, Mr. Drew, you got to understand, even if you're going to treat it like a noun, and I don't necessarily treat it like a noun, I treat it like an adjective that it is. Christ died for undevoutness, for unworshipness, for unreverence. Concerning unreverence. That's why he died, because of the unreverence. Unreverentness. Ungodliness is why Christ died. He died for the sin of the world, not the sin of every person on the world or in the world, but sin in general. That's what a substantive adjective is. It's an in general. In general. Like the rich. Not every single rich person. The ungodly, not every single ungodly person. It is subject to, and especially because it's an adjective. Adjectives describe nouns and pronouns. It is subject to the context. Has to be. If you don't look at if you associate it with something outside of the context, you'll get it wrong. So if you associate it with everybody on the planet, you'll get it wrong because everybody on the planet is not in the context. Is that clear, Mr. Drew? Because I don't know how to say it any more clear. Okay?